America Meditating Blog Talk Radio Show. We collect wisdom, hear stories, and inspire each other. I'm Sister Jenna. Tune in live from Monday through Friday at 8 a.m.
Radio show, tuning to love as we grow.
Hi, my name is Misty Crutchfield with Gandhi's Bee Magazine, an online magazine designed to raise awareness and inspire people about all of the amazing things happening in the world, as well as all the challenging things that can help us raise awareness so we can make a difference in the world and be the change. One of my inspirations is Sister Jenna and America Meditating Radio. I listen, you should too.
Take a break, breathe. Why don't you visit the Peace Village Learning and Retreat Center, 518-589-5000.
Hey everybody, it's John Duperrin from Project Forgive. How are you doing? You are in the right place for the highest level of conversation to feed your soul. American Meditating with Sister Jenna. Stay with us.
Today in school I learned a lot. In chemistry, I learned that no one likes me. In biology, I learned that I'm fat and stupid. In English, I learned that I'm disgusting. And in gym, I learned that I'm pathetic and a joke. The only thing I didn't learn in school today is why no one ever helps.
Kids witness bullying every day. They want to help, but they don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov. A message from the Ad Council.
I feel it
Hello, everybody, and welcome to America Meditating Radio. I'm your host, Sister Jenna. We're broadcasting from Meditation Museum in Tyson's Corner. So holiday seasons are upon us. Thanksgiving is behind us. And how many pounds did you gain? Oh, my goodness. Sister Gita made the most awesome tofu turkey, and she calls it spiritual duck. But let me tell you, it was the most amazing dish ever, and all meatless. And I'll tell you this, we can live without sacrificing an animal. We actually can survive and enjoy the food. It just requires a little bit of talent of how to cook that food when we actually get it. And so I hope you enjoyed being with family, and in a message that I sent out for the Thanksgiving holiday, that it's important to inform people that they matter and that you're glad that they're in their story. And if for whatever reason someone might not necessarily be on your good list because of some experience with them in the past, either you can call them, or perhaps when they do call, you give them the room of passage and forgiveness and understanding so that they can move on and be better people as well for themselves. We are instruments of change, and we have gathered a tremendous amount of stories from our experiences interacting with each other, whether it was through a person, a place, a scenario with my body, with the way money has been exchanged. You'll find that just about every event in your life has another person involved. It had to connect me with another person to some extent. And where was my intention and consciousness? And so how much am I coming from a pure place of wisdom and love and integrity and honesty is our lifelong journey at this time. In Raj Yoga meditation, we have an awareness of consciousness called the confluence age, where it's an age to make yourself the best that you can possibly be. It's the age of being as charitable as you can be. It's the age of being your most humble and yet your most greatest. And so we would like to dedicate the show to our spirit of charity, our ability to be philanthropic with our thoughts, our words, our wealth, our time, and our relationships. The more we develop this ability to be generous, I believe that other part recorded in us of, that sort of I need something would be less, and it would be more like I'm offering something. I'm offering something to our humanity and greater good. So give that some food for thought as we move into our meditation, as we do this regularly on the America Meditating Radio. And we think that meditation is one of the most healing tools. You don't have to stop thinking, my friends, but observe the quality of thoughts that you do think. The better the quality of thought, the better the destination. My pure wish for you on that one. From my off to work meditation CD, take a deep breath, and let's go into meditation.
Take in this moment, I, the soul, settle gently inside, behind my eyes. As I continue this journey in time, I am not the body. I am not my attachments. And I am not my material world around me. But as I settle further within the soul, I am powerful. With the power to let go, I am able to release the negative thoughts and memories that I find myself still holding on to. recognize that the past is the past, and to bring any of it into the present is to limit my fortune for the future. Instead, I, the soul, remain positive, light, and true. I'm free from burdens or worries, trusting that with the power to let go, new experiences and beautiful experiences are attracted to me. I am greatly fortunate.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that, getting just centered in your inner being as we move into what can be a very stressful time, a time in which we are donors and sometimes having the expectation as to what I'm going to get in return. I think there's nothing more powerful than just being a donor of the heart. Today, we're very proud to welcome a very dear friend of mine who I had a wonderful chuckle with when we were sharing the stage at Unity Church. Andy Shallal, in which many of you know from the local area of Busboys and Poets, is an Iraqi-American artist, activist, restaurateur, and he's best known as the proprietor of the Washington, D.C. area restaurants, bookstore, performance venue, Busboys and Poets, and Eatonville restaurant, as well as being a local philanthropist as well. Andy is now a person that I have been observing who has an incredible heart of generosity. He also founded and co-founded several peace and justice organizations and holds leadership positions in numerous others. He has received numerous awards, including the Mayor's Arts Award, and on Thanksgiving Day, he hosted a beautiful Feed the Homeless along with Marion Bowser, and we saw some of the pictures that were sent to us, and the joy in Andy's eyes was so apparent. It's clear to see that Andy is an inspiring leader in our community as we feature this special segment, and today we would like to welcome Andy Shallal. Hi, welcome.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Sister Jenna. I've been looking forward to this.
Well, I was hoping that you were going to wake up after all that food on Thanksgiving Day.
Really? I mean, we always think of Thanksgiving as a food orgy, but sometimes, it's different than that. We turned it into a service opportunity for people to really share the love.
Was very beautiful. We got some pictures yesterday, and we also tweeted out to you our appreciation of your work. Andy, we're enjoying this process of featuring some inspiring leaders in our local community on our show. And I know that in 2005 you opened up, which is just 10 years ago, you opened
Yes.
up the first Busboys and Poets restaurant in D.C. It's become an instant success within the community. You've been combining politics, arts, culture. Please let our listeners know what's been inspiring Andy to be of service where he's still combining it and making a living.
Well, I think some of it has to do with starts with a sense of wanting to connect to a community that you love, that you care about.
Mm-hmm.
I think that for the longest time, especially when after 9/11 happened, I felt very disconnected from the way we responded to that horrific incident that happened, and that particular time, and how we were so angry and we jumped to the idea of trying to, go to war and destroy even more than what's already happened. And I wanted to be with a community that thought otherwise. And for a while, I thought I was alone, and or very few people were in that kind of state of mind. And wanting to have a place that brings people together to share their thoughts and their ideas in a different way than we had experienced through our leaders, I think was an important thing for me. And so when I started Busboys and Poets, it was really intention of finding those people and bringing them out into the open and say, we are the many, we are the ones that care. and the ideas that we hear about in the news and how our leaders have been speaking is not representative of the way most people that I interact with think. And I wanted to find those people, so it was kind of exciting to move in that direction to try to. It started really from a selfish perspective of trying to find people that had similar interests in making a better world and not just trying to destroy things.
As I'm listening to you, the thought that's emerging is, what would be the condition of our world if you were president at that time? Because it continues to baffle me, even though I have a title of a spiritual individual, that of all the choices our leadership could have made, it made a choice of going into battle over something that they were so uncertain of. And yes, Andy, is it about breaking bread between strangers that can actually create world peace?
Well, it has to begin with that. It certainly has to begin with sitting at a table face to face, eye to eye. I think once we do that, a lot of barriers get torn down, and people are able to see each other not just as enemies or as objects, but actually see each other and look into their soul and understand one another and understand the motivation that brings us to where we are. So a lot of it is really kind of unraveling the objectification of the other and trying to get it to a point where you can actually understand their point of view and their perspective. And through that, then you start with a common space that you can then move forward.
Yeah, important thought to have. Yeah. The question is, we sometimes struggle to actually be open to that portal, even though it's available for every person. I want to talk a little bit about your incredible life. At a point in life, I believe you were attending medical school at the wonderful Howard University, but you quit it after a semester. I'm not quite sure if it was all the blood, but you've said that you've never been afraid to quit something, and I would love if you can tell our listeners about your decision. Like, what made you so courageous enough to know that was not for you?
Well, I think I always knew that wasn't for me. I was really doing it for my parents at the time. I was very young. I was not really ready to kind of focus on my life and what I wanted to do. A lot of times you live your life for others, and sometimes you have to go inwards in order for you to actually give more. The idea of going inwards and trying to understand yourself and understand what motivates you, what gets you up in the morning, what gets you excited about things. That's important to me. I have to have joy in everything that I do, and if I can't have joy in it, it must not be for me. It must not be. I must not be the right vehicle for it,
Right.
So the idea of having joy in whatever I do is very important to me, even today. And when I see that I don't look forward to something and I see that I have a hard time visualizing myself in that position or in that space, I will sit down and make a very hard assessment. And sometimes it requires actually making a U-turn. Sometimes it requires actually taking an exit. Too many times we try to push forward and keep pushing forward, even though it may not be the right direction for us. And it's a hard, fine line to come to terms to understand when is the right time to quit, when is the right time to say, you know what, I've tried this, it's not what I want to do, I want to do something else, as opposed to being perceived as someone who just quits. I don't just quit, I actually quit for a reason.
You redirect.
Redirect, I guess, is a better way to put it, because otherwise you end up just being miserable. And I've known too many people that have been either in really terrible relationships and they stay in them because that's what they have to do, or they feel like they have to do, or have gone down a path in their careers or whatever that really doesn't quite fit their own spirit, and they end up being dispirited and end up just waiting for that moment or time or whatever when something is supposed to happen, and it never does. And you end up going down this long path that really doesn't take you necessarily to a very scenic route, and it's not a healthy way to live, I don't think.
It might be safe for me to say in a few words that I pulled from what you just shared. You turned inwards and you were listening. And I think many of us are so distracted by what the traditional requirements are of existing that we are fulfilling the desire or the needs of others, Andy. I interviewed an author that researched about 30,000 individuals who were all about to die, who were all about to leave their bodies. And she asked them a few questions, and one of them was, what do you regret the most? And out of 99% of them responded, I didn't do what I wanted to do. I did it for everyone else.
Wow.
And I thought that the most profound thing is to be able to answer your call in life and still be able to inspire and encourage others to walk with you on the journey, because I think that's what makes the call so powerful. And I've been observing you with Busboys and Poets. I'm looking at what's your vision of any political aspirations. You ran for mayor in 2014, and we all thought that that was really going to be a great call for the District of Washington, D.C. But what are your thoughts in terms of your political leadership in the nation's capital? Are there any thoughts about you getting involved with that in the future?
Yes, I think I would like to be involved in the future in politics. I used to think of politics as dirty business. I used to think of it as something that you don't get into if you're a decent person, you know. And I thought, you know what, we are represented by those folks. Somebody said once, we elect the people we deserve. And at times I don't think we deserve the people that are there in power. Well, you have the power to change that. We are fortunate that we live in a democracy, in a place where actually you do have a voice. And unless you exercise that voice is lost. It's useless. So I thought, you know what, I want to stop complaining. I want to stop saying so-and-so didn't do such and such, and I want to see what it's like to actually be in the middle of it. And decided to run, and I was very serious about it, and had to do a lot of catching up to do, because I am not a bureaucrat. I'm not someone that has worked in government for a long time, although I've done work with government. I've been on many boards. I've been on many committees. I've been on many councils, and so I'm very familiar with government, its impact, and its importance. So I wanted to be a part of that process.
That process and that story,
and yes, so I threw my hat in the ring and learned a lot in the about 6 months or so. Yeah, it was really about 3 months actually of actually running, to meet all the people, to hear all the conversations, to be involved in many debates, to have a lot of dialogue about very important issues in the city. And you know, I didn't prevail. We didn't win at the end, but I think we did change the conversation and help to move certain things forward that I think are being implemented right now by the current mayor. You know, things on housing, things on education. We're getting ready to do stuff on illiteracy and so on. And I've been, you know, very closely working with the mayor that's current now to see what else can be done and how else can I be a help to making the city a much better place for not just the people that normally have the opportunities, but people who have not partaken in the opportunities that have come before us.
If Andy Shallal was president for a day, what would be the impact that he would bring for a better America?
I think my interest would be to try to figure out how can we extricate ourselves from this paradigm of perpetual wars. You know, that idea of constantly thinking in terms of the way to resolve conflict is by more conflict and more firepower and more destruction. So that would be my major interest, and I think that's the interest that I think a lot of people have, is how do we get out of this mess that we have gotten ourselves into, where we constantly have to rely on the military in order to solve our problems that don't require the military as a solution, but really are human problems that require humans and human interest to be able to change them. That would be definitely a big focus for me, because I think that is the underlying problem that we face today, and that we have not been able to divert our attention to more pressing things, to more humanistic things, like building schools and building hospitals and building community centers that make a better world, but rather destroying hospitals and destroying schools and destroying community centers that only creates more angst and more terrorism and more fear and more of all the things we don't want to see in the world.
Right.
So it seems quite logical, and sometimes people think it's too simplistic, but I think it's far more simplistic to drop bombs than it is to sit down and have conversations with people. I think that's the simplistic stuff is getting in a plane or sending a drone to drop a bomb and destroy.
I hear you, and what's fascinating is how those billions and billions and billions of dollars could actually be used for not only building the country but the morale of the whole world. But, we're going to not lose hope, because I think individuals outside of sometimes the political realm of powers might be really the movers that might just surprise all of humanity and make this world a better place. Andy, I have loved having you on the air. Before I let you go, I would love if you could leave our listeners with your favorite life quote. And is there anything special coming up with Busboy and Poets that you could leave our listeners with, a contact website that they can get a hold of you?
I've been hearing some thoughts from different people. I think one really interesting thing that I've heard lately is that we tend to overestimate short-term gains and underestimate long-term successes. Sometimes when we look at things, they seem daunting and they take forever for change to take place, but we don't really recognize sometimes the small incremental changes that create the big change over time. So I think it's important for us not to give up, just like you said, and really focus on very, very tiny, minuscule impacts that we sometimes can have that can, in the long run, continue to drip by drip by drip make the big dents in the issues that we deal with. So I think that's an important thought to have, I think, to hold in one's head, especially when you're feeling overwhelmed by the other things that are happening in the world. As far as upcoming events and programs, we have lots of events and programs on a regular basis. We have poetry all the time, and it's always wonderful to go to one of the open mics. You hear so much, and you learn so much about yourself, not just about the person that's reading the poem or the story. So if anyone wants to know more, you can go to our website at www.busboysandpoets.com, and you can see a listing of all the events that are happening on a regular basis.
Andy Shallal, thank you so much for joining us on the air, and wishing you more continued success and just continue to maintain that beautiful heart that many of us felt in our conversation.
Thank you so much, Sister Jenna. I love hearing your voice. I just love hearing your voice. If I could just listen to it, that's all I need. You can say whatever you want, but the voice is beautiful. Thank you.
You're sweet. Take care. All the best.
Take care. Bye-bye.
So it's sometimes just a matter of breaking of bread, my folks. It's about really seeing how we can bring more community conversations and individuals and things together. How do we come together and really have the kind of conversations that are needed to build our own communities? Another aspect to consider is, do you listen to your innermost thoughts? You might be fulfilling what somebody that you respect and love needs of you, but really, what is your innermost being calling you to do? Look at Andy. He ended up taking on board the importance of his life where, he went the complete other way than medicine, and look at the hundreds and thousands of lives that he has been able to impact in the last 10 years. I hope you've enjoyed our Inspiring Leadership segment, and I know I did. Looking forward to hearing your feedback on these conversations as we move along. Please do visit busboysandpoets.com for more information on what they've been doing. Remember, no one can take away your happiness unless you give them permission, and we are here to love each other the same. So let's do that. Happy holidays, everyone. Please take care of yourself. We'll end with Dinah Ross. Reach out and touch someone's hand.
Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place. If you can, reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place. If you can, just try. if you can.